A revolution is quietly happening in the world of fat loss, and it is changing the way we understand dieting and metabolism. Scientists have tested every major fasting window, from short daily fasts to prolonged periods without food, and the results are astonishing. Among all the methods studied, one fasting window stands out as the most effective at melting fat. This video will take you deep into the science behind fasting and show you exactly which window triggers the fastest fat loss, why it works on a cellular level, and how you can use it safely to transform your body. You will learn how different fasting schedules affect hormones, metabolism, and fat burning, and uncover details that most people never hear about, including why some fasting windows produce results that are far more dramatic than others. By the end of this video, you will understand not only the most powerful fasting method, but also how to incorporate it into your lifestyle for maximum benefit. Every minute of fasting research reveals patterns that challenge traditional dieting advice, showing that the timing of meals can be just as important as what is on your plate. You will discover the hidden mechanisms that make longer fasts trigger deeper fat breakdown, how your body switches from burning sugar to burning stored fat, and the surprising reasons why shorter fasts often fail to produce the same effect. This video also exposes common misconceptions about fasting, including why calorie restriction alone is not always enough, and why the most dramatic fat loss happens in ways that are subtle but powerful, supported by the latest studies and expert observations. Watching till the end is important because we will reveal practical strategies for safely implementing the most effective fasting window, including tips on hydration, nutrition, and timing that make a real difference in results. You will also learn about the real limitations and potential pitfalls that many people overlook, so you can avoid common mistakes and see measurable results faster. This is not just theory. The facts and insights shared here come from scientific studies and experiments that carefully compared different fasting windows across various groups of people. Every fasting period creates unique effects on hormones like insulin and growth hormone, which are key players in fat metabolism, and understanding this can give you a major advantage in your fat loss journey. You will see why some windows produce moderate results while one particular method consistently outperforms all the others, creating dramatic reductions in body fat without extreme diets or hours of exercise. There is also an element of suspense in discovering which fasting window holds this advantage, and we will break down the findings in a clear, simple way so you can immediately apply them to your own routine. Along the way, you will encounter lesser-known facts about fasting, such as how it affects cellular repair, energy levels, and even brain function, all of which play a role in why fat melts faster during certain periods without food. This video combines scientific accuracy with practical advice, giving you the tools and understanding to make informed choices that go beyond fad diets and quick fixes. You will learn about the different effects of fasting lengths, why timing meals strategically can amplify results, and how subtle changes can create dramatic long-term benefits. By the time you finish watching, you will have a clear roadmap for implementing the most effective fasting window safely and effectively, making this one of the most valuable insights you can gain for your health and body transformation. Welcome to our channel, where we explore science-backed strategies to improve your body, metabolism, and overall health. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the latest insights, tips, and breakthroughs in fasting, fat loss, and healthy living. Stay tuned because what you are about to learn could completely change the way you approach fat loss and fasting forever. Fasting is a way of eating that means you choose not to eat for a set period of time and then you only eat during another set period. When you hear the word fasting, it simply means you are going without food for a while, and this is done on purpose to give your body a break from digesting meals all day long. There are many different fasting schedules people use, and they are often called fasting windows because they describe how long you go without eating and how long you get to eat. One of the simplest fasting windows is the 12-hour fast, which means you stop eating at a certain time in the evening and then you do not eat again until 12 hours later the next day. This means that if your last meal is at 8 in the evening, you would not eat again until 8 in the morning the next day. This kind of schedule fits into most people's lives because a large part of those 12 hours is spent sleeping, and most people find it easy not to eat while they are asleep. Another popular fasting window is the 14-10 schedule, and this means you avoid eating for 14 hours and then have a 10-hour window in which you can eat normally. This might mean not eating from 7 in the evening until 9 the next morning and then eating freely from 9 in the morning until 7 in the evening. People who follow the 14-10 fasting window often find it gives them a little more time in the morning without food, and it can help them feel more focused and clear-headed while still allowing plenty of hours to enjoy meals with family or friends. A more widely known fasting window is the 16-8 method. This means you fast for 16 hours and then you get an 8-hour window where you eat your meals. This might look like eating only between 12 noon and 8 at night and not eating from 8 at night until 12 noon the next day. The 16-8 fasting window has become very popular because many people find it fits easily into daily life, and it gives the body a longer period without food each day, which can help shift the way the body uses fuel. Another approach to fasting is alternate day fasting, which is quite different from the daily windows. With alternate day fasting, you eat normally one day, and then the next day you do not eat at all or eat very little. Then you eat normally again and repeat this cycle over and over. People who follow this plan might eat normal meals on Monday, then fast all day Tuesday, eat again on Wednesday, fast on Thursday, and so on. This kind of fasting window requires more discipline because you are going without food for an entire day, but many people follow it because it can lead to very strong changes in weight and body fat when done carefully. There are also whole-day fasting schedules like 24-hour fasts or 36-hour fasts, where a person might choose not to eat anything for 24 hours, even 36 hours before eating again. A 36-hour fast might look like eating dinner at 6 in the evening, then not eating again until breakfast 2 days later at 6 in the morning. These longer fasts are less common, but they are used by people who want to push their bodies into deeper states of fat burning and metabolic shift. All of these fasting windows share the same basic idea that you are giving your body a longer period without food than normal, and this changes the way your body gets energy. When you eat a meal, your body breaks down the food into sugars, which are used for fuel right away. This means that after you eat, your body is primarily burning the sugar from the food to give you energy. But when you stop eating for a period of time, eventually your body begins to run out of sugar that is ready to use, and it has to find another source of fuel. This is when something important happens in your metabolism. After about 12 hours without eating, the body starts to shift from burning sugar to burning stored fat. The stored fat is broken down into molecules that the body can use for energy, and this process is why many people turn to fasting when they want to lose body fat. This shift does not happen right away when you stop eating, but once the hours without food add up and your body begins to adapt, the fuel source gradually changes and the fat stored in your body becomes a more important source of energy. This is one of the central reasons why fasting affects fat loss. It creates a window of time in which the body is more likely to tap into its fat stores for fuel rather than relying on the sugar from the food you just ate. The way fasting affects fat loss also has to do with hormones. Hormones are chemical messengers in your body that tell your cells what to do. One of the key hormones involved in fat storage and fat burning is insulin. When you eat, especially foods with carbohydrates and sugar, your body releases insulin to help move that sugar out of your blood and into your cells. But when your body is in a fasting state and not digesting food, insulin levels drop. Lower insulin levels make it easier for your body to release stored fat and use it for energy because high insulin tells the body to store fat instead of burning it. This means that fasting not only shifts fuel use from sugar to fat, but also changes the hormonal environment so that your body becomes more efficient at accessing stored fat. This process is important for fat loss because burning stored fat means decreasing the amount of fat that sits in your tissues over time. Daily time restricted eating, which includes fasting windows like 12 hours, 14 hours, and 16 hours, has been studied extensively in scientific research. When people follow these fasting windows consistently, their bodies adapt to having a longer period without food each day, and this often leads to changes in weight and body fat. For many people, fasting for 12 to 16 hours each day has been shown to help lower body weight and reduce fat over time. This happens because the body spends more time in that fat burning mode, especially in the later hours of the fast when sugar reserves are low and the body must turn to stored fat for energy. Many people report that they feel more stable energy levels during the day, less hunger in the evening, and gradual fat loss when they stick with these schedules. The simplicity of these fasting windows makes them easier for many people to follow because they do not have to give up entire days without eating and they can still enjoy meals within a normal eating window. Longer fasts, such as 24-hour or 36-hour fasts, take this process even further. When you extend the fasting period to a full day or more, the body spends an even greater amount of time without a new supply of food and thus spends more time burning stored fat for energy. Extended fasts create a deeper metabolic shift, and many people who practice these longer fasts report that their bodies adapt by using fat for fuel more efficiently. A 36-hour fast means that your body has passed well beyond the point of simply depleting its immediate sugar stores, and it has been relying on stored fat and ketones for a long period of time. Ketones are molecules produced when fat is broken down for energy, and they are used by the brain and muscles when sugar is not available. This longer reliance on stored fat can lead to faster reductions in body fat for some people, and this is why many experts consider extended fast to be one of the most powerful fasting windows for fat loss when done with care and preparation. People who complete these longer fasts often describe a deep sense of metabolic change where hunger fades and the body becomes very efficient at burning fat. This does not happen immediately, but as the hours without food pass, the body shifts deeper into a fat burning mode that can produce noticeable changes over time. When we compare these fasting windows to other methods of weight loss, such as traditional calorie restriction, where people simply eat less food throughout the day, fasting has been shown in many studies to be just as effective for fat loss. This means that when people eat the same number of calories overall, those who follow a fasting schedule often lose similar amounts of fat as those who reduce calories without fasting. However, the advantage of fasting is that it changes the hormonal environment and the metabolic fuel use in ways that calorie restriction alone does not always do. The timing of food can influence how your body stores and uses energy, so fasting can provide an extra boost to fat loss when compared with eating the same calories spread out over a typical day. At the same time, fasting is not magic, and the total amount of calories you eat still matters for fat loss. If you eat a very large number of calories during your eating window, your body may not lose fat even if you fast for long hours. But when fasting is used with a reasonable approach to eating and calorie intake, the combination can be a powerful tool for reducing body fat over time. In this way, fasting windows like the 12-hour, 14-10-16-8 alternate day fasting, and especially extended fast like 24 and 36 hours, all influence fat loss by shifting the body's fuel use, changing hormone levels, and giving the body a longer period to burn stored fat instead of sugar. When these fasting windows are compared side by side, we see a clear pattern that the longer the fasting period, the more time the body has to rely on stored fat for fuel, and the more likely it is that fat loss will occur. At the same time, every fasting window works within the same basic principle that when food is not present, the body adapts by turning to its own energy reserves. And this is what makes fasting such a powerful way to change how your body uses energy and loses fat over time. When we start to look at the research and expert summaries on fasting windows, One pattern begins to emerge over and over again, and that is that longer fasting periods seem to push the body into a much deeper state of fat burning than shorter windows. And the longest fasting windows that many experts point to are the ones that last around 36 hours or more. And when done correctly, these extended fasts appear to unlock a level of fat breakdown that shorter fasting periods simply cannot reach, because they give the body more uninterrupted time to shift away from burning sugar and into fat. And this shift does not happen immediately, but builds gradually as the hours without food stretch on, which is why a 36-hour fast can create an environment where stored body fat becomes the primary fuel source for such a long span of time that the body begins to adapt in fundamental ways. Shorter fasting windows, like 16 hours, which are great and have become very popular, work because they give the body a break from eating and push it into that fat burning mode for a portion of each day, but they still leave a significant amount of time where food is being digested and sugar is available as fuel. And that means the body does not spend as much of its time forced to draw from its fat reserves. Whereas a 36-hour fast means that once the initial sugar stores are used up, the body has no choice but to rely on stored fat for energy for a long stretch. And this extended reliance on fat not only burns fat directly, but also changes the way the metabolism works, often lowering insulin and increasing hormones that help the body access fat more easily. And this is why, when you speak to experts or read deep analyses, they often point out that the longer fasting windows are the big winners in terms of maximum fat loss potential, because they create the longest uninterrupted periods where fat burning is unavoidable and the body fully shifts its fuel usage. And many people who try these extended fasts report that hunger becomes less intense after the first part of the fast, and the body seems to enter a kind of steady state where fat is constantly being used for energy, which is exactly what the scientific goal of fasting is, when fat loss is the objective. However, the excitement over longer fasting also comes with important context, because not all research finds huge benefits when compared side by side with other weight loss methods, and it turns out that the most powerful effects of fasting for fat loss are often tied to the fact that people naturally end up eating less overall when they restrict the hours they eat. So some scientists argue that the real reason fasting shows results is not the timing itself, but simply the result of a lower total calorie intake, because when food is only allowed during a shorter time window, it is harder for many people to overeat. And when researchers compare fasting to traditional calorie counting diets where total calories are matched between groups, the fat loss results are often very similar, which suggests that timing matters, but the total energy balance is still a very large part of the equation. And this reality check means that while extended fasting like 36 hours can burn fat deeply, it is not magic, and it does not guarantee that someone will lose more fat if they eat more calories during their eating window, or if their metabolism responds differently. And there are even trials where participants who ate regular meals but controlled their calories had fat loss results that matched those who fasted, which raises the question of whether fasting is superior because of its timing, or simply because it changes eating patterns in a way that leads to lower calorie intake. And this is why scientists continue to study fasting from all angles, because the human body is complex and weight loss is influenced by many factors, including hormones, energy expenditure, activity levels, genetics, and daily habits. And the fasting studies that compare different windows find that longer fasts often show more dramatic shifts in fat usage for many people, but that does not mean every person will see the same effect, or that the longest fast is always superior for everyone. And part of the reason for this is that individual bodies respond differently to periods without food, and some people find long fasts stressful or unsustainable, which can cause them to overeat later, or feel low energy, and other people thrive and feel clear and energized, which can help them maintain the routine and see deeper fat loss over time. This variation in response is important because the science does not say that one fasting window is the best for every person, but rather that longer fasting windows like 36 hours can produce a deeper metabolic shift and greater fat breakdown when done safely and consistently. Yet at the same time, the simpler windows like 12, 14, and 16 hours still work for many people because they create regular periods where the body can access stored fat. And for those people, the convenience and sustainability of the shorter windows might make them more effective in the long run, even if the metabolic shift is not as deep as with extended fasting. And this is why researchers emphasize that the benefits of fasting for fat loss are real but must be in the context of overall lifestyle and calorie intake, because the studies that match calories between groups suggest that the advantage of fasting is not infinite. It is linked to how fasting changes eating habits and how the body adapts to longer periods without food. And this is an important nuance because some people may expect that fasting alone will melt fat independent of any other factor, when in reality, the best results are often seen when fasting is combined with mindful eating, healthy food choices, and an awareness of total energy intake, which together create a powerful environment for fat loss that can rival or surpass traditional calorie restriction diets. And even though some trials do not show massive differences when calories are strictly controlled, the fact remains that fasting changes the hormonal landscape, lowers insulin, increases fat-burning hormones, and keeps the body in a state where stored fat is a key source of energy for longer periods than atypical eating patterns, which is why many experts believe that for maximum fat loss, the extended fasting periods represent the strongest tools available, while still acknowledging that they must be used thoughtfully and in a way that matches an individual's needs, capacities, and goals. Fasting can be a powerful tool for fat loss, but it is important to approach it with care and understanding because extended periods without food put stress on the body and require planning to make sure the process is safe and effective. And one of the most fundamental things to remember when fasting, whether it is for 12 hours, 16 hours, or a full 36-hour stretch, is that staying hydrated is absolutely essential because during fasting, the body continues to lose fluids through normal functions like breathing, sweating, and urination. And if these fluids are not replaced, dehydration can occur, which may cause fatigue, headaches, dizziness, or even more serious complications. So, drinking plenty of water throughout the fasting period is not optional but critical. And many people who practice longer fasts find that sipping water steadily throughout the day helps them maintain energy, keep their metabolism functioning, and control hunger. And this hydration also supports the body's natural detoxification processes, as water helps the kidneys flush out waste and aids in circulation, which is why experts emphasize that water should be the first thing you turn to during a fast rather than calorie-containing drinks, because the goal of fasting is to give the digestive system a rest while still supplying the body with the fluids it needs to operate efficiently. In addition to water, longer fasts may require attention to the electrolytes, which are minerals like sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium that the body needs for critical functions such as nerve signaling, muscle contraction, and heart rhythm. And when someone fasts for more than a day, these electrolytes can become depleted because they are lost in sweat, urine, and other normal processes, and without replenishing them, the body can experience cramping, weakness, irregular heartbeat, or lightheadedness, which can make fasting uncomfortable or even unsafe. So many people who attempt 36-hour fasts supplement electrolytes in safe forms, either with mineral-rich drinks, salt, or carefully chosen supplements, while still avoiding calories that would break the fast, because maintaining electrolyte balance ensures that the extended fast supports fat burning without compromising overall health, and paying attention to these details is especially important for individuals who have higher activity levels because exercising while fasting increases electrolyte losses, making hydration and mineral balance even more critical. Another essential aspect of fasting safely is what you eat when you do break your fast, because the nutrition during eating windows directly impacts how effective the fast is for fat loss and overall health, and it is easy for someone to undo the benefits of a fast by consuming very high calorie, low nutrient foods, even within a short eating window, which is why experts recommend focusing on nutrient dense foods, including vegetables, lean proteins, healthy fats, and whole grains, which provide the body with the vitamins, minerals, and energy it needs to function, while still allowing fat stores to be used as fuel, and meals should be balanced to stabilize blood sugar, support muscle maintenance, and avoid spikes in insulin that could interfere with the fat burning process, and paying careful attention to portion sizes and macronutrient ratios can make the difference between slow, steady fat loss and minimal progress despite fasting, and this principle applies whether the fast is 12 hours, 16 hours, or 36 hours, because no matter the window, the body still responds to what you eat when you are not fasting, and the most effective fasting routines are those that combine strategic fasting hours with smart nutrition choices that optimize metabolic health, support sustained energy, and minimize the risk of overeating during the eating periods. Consulting a doctor or qualified health professional before attempting longer fasts is another critical step, because fasting for extended periods is not suitable for everyone, especially people with certain medical conditions, those taking medications that affect blood sugar or hydration, or individuals who are pregnant, breastfeeding, or have a history of eating disorders, and even healthy adults benefit from guidance when attempting prolonged fasting, because a medical professional can advise on safe electrolyte supplementation, hydration strategies, and how to monitor signs of stress or imbalance during the fast, which greatly reduces the risk of complications and makes the process more effective and sustainable. And this consultation also provides peace of mind, knowing that the fast is being done with a personalized approach that considers individual health status, lifestyle, and goals, and people who skip this step may face unnecessary risks or fail to see the results they hope for, which is why medical oversight is recommended, especially when exploring the longer fasting windows that experts highlight for maximum fat loss. Many fasting windows are effective for fat loss when approached with care, and shorter daily fasts like 12, 14, or 16 hours are convenient and widely sustainable because they fit into typical sleeping schedules and allow regular meals with family or work routines, while longer fasts like 36 hours may accelerate fat breakdown by creating longer uninterrupted periods where the body relies on stored fat for energy, but these require planning, hydration, and awareness, and they are not a shortcut to losing fat if overall calories consumed are excessive, or if the eating windows are filled with low-quality foods, because the total energy balance still determines fat loss, and fasting is most effective when it is part of a lifestyle approach that balances calories, nutrition, activity, and recovery, meaning that even the longest fasts only produce superior results when the individual is consistent, attentive to hydration and electrolytes, and focused on nutrient-rich meals, and this is why fasting is often described as a flexible tool rather than a rigid prescription, allowing people to choose a schedule that fits their lifestyle, whether that means a daily 16-hour fast, alternate day fasting, or occasional 36-hour fasts, because adherence, sustainability, and safety are what determine whether the fast translates into real fat loss over weeks and months, and while longer fasts may trigger faster fat melting for those who can manage them safely, each person must consider their own energy needs, activity levels, and health background, and adjust their fasting schedule to a level that they can maintain consistently, because consistency over time is what produces measurable and lasting results, not extreme fasting or occasional overachievement. And by combining smart hydration, electrolyte balance, nutrient-focused meals, and guidance from a qualified professional, anyone can safely explore fasting windows that optimize fat burning and create an environment for healthy, sustainable weight management, making the choice of fasting schedule highly individual, but guided by science and personal needs rather than marketing hype or extreme claims. And this approach ensures that fasting remains a practical, effective, and safe method for reducing body fat while maintaining overall wellness and energy levels, supporting the body through both the fast and the eating periods, and allowing people to experience the benefits of fat loss without compromising health, which is the ultimate goal when selecting a fasting window and practicing it responsibly. Now that you've learned about the different fasting windows, the powerful effects of longer fasts, and how to do them safely, it's time to take action and see what works for you. Comment below and tell us which fasting window you're excited to try first, because sharing your plans inspires others and helps build a community of people reaching their health goals together. If you found this video helpful, give it a like to let us know and share it with friends or family who want to burn fat and improve their health the smart way. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss our weekly science-backed tips that actually work. From fasting strategies to fat-burning hacks and healthy lifestyle advice. Your journey to smarter fat loss and better health starts here, and we're here to guide you every step of the way. So join us, take control, and let's achieve these results together.